Are you throwing away money with Google Ads? I've seen these mistakes over and over when taking over accounts, and they might be killing your results. Don't get me wrong, Google Ads is great if you use it correctly, but make these common beginner mistakes and you'll end up wasting your budget. So ready to learn about these mistakes? Let's go. Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Timo and I've got clicks in mind. I'm a Google Ads professional and have been running successful Google Ads campaigns for more than 5 years now. Here on my channel, I love to help people with their Google Ads campaigns. So if you're interested in free and helpful videos like these, please subscribe to my channel. Also, what is a common mistake that you experience? Let me know in the comments. This video helps you to ensure that you don't waste your money and give it directly to Google without getting anything back in return. So let's dive in. The most common errors are around the same theme that I like to call Google smart ideas. If you're starting a new account, Google will give you all those recommendations looking like it is genuinely good advice. But all those recommendations and best practices by Google are oftentimes not in line with a new account or even a new business with maybe a small budget. The first thing I always see is using broad match keywords without knowing what they really do. Broad match keywords in general can trigger your ads even for search queries which are just a tiny bit relevant to the keywords you add to the campaign. And Google is also recommending using broad match and by default also using it. And of course, it sounds great. Broad match promising you more reach. Don't get me wrong, broad match can be great, but most of the time for beginners, it's not the best choice. Because for it to be working, you need lots of conversion data so that the Google algorithm can learn. But if you start and if you have a small budget, it is not the best choice because you will just end up paying for irrelevant traffic. For the start, I would always recommend using exact match keywords because you can be sure that the money you spend for relevant traffic. Then another thing Google always recommends, and it goes in the very same direction, is using performance max too early. It's the same as for broad match. Generally, there is nothing wrong with performance max, but most of the time for beginners, it's not the best choice. Because performance max operates on data. And most of the time as a beginner, you just don't have that. And here it's the same for every AI. If you have a great input, you will get great output. And if you have bad input, in this case just not enough data, you will have also bad output. Garbage in, garbage out. This campaign type is great for amplifying great results you already have, but for starting out, and especially if you're not an e-commerce business, it's not the best choice. So hold off on performance max until you have enough conversion data. Focus on manual campaigns to gain insights first. And then the third mistake is using smart campaigns. Let me tell you, nobody who uses Google Ads professionally uses smart campaigns. It is not difficult to set up another campaign type which is much more beneficial for you. So while smart campaigns promise simplicity, you lose control over critical aspects like keyword targeting, bidding strategies, your landing page, and so on. This will lead to bad results even though they might look good in smart campaigns because Google is using its own conversion. So my solution, avoid using smart campaigns and go for the normal search campaigns instead. And the fourth mistake regarding Google's smart ideas is auto-applying Google's recommendations. Google constantly gives you recommendations about how you can optimize your account, and generally there's nothing wrong with that. There are good recommendations as well, but if you're auto-applying it, it can cost you a lot of money because there are recommendations that will add more keywords to your campaigns or change their match type, which will entirely change your account. So auto-applying recommendations can really mess up your campaigns. So what to do instead? Always review the recommendations manually, and if you see one which might fit, you can apply it, and if not, don't apply it at all. So, and now to one mistake which maybe I see the most, and that is bidding on your brand terms or your competitor terms by mistake. In Google, generally, it's nothing wrong with bidding on your brand name and bidding on your competitor's brand name, but always segment those campaigns out, because searches for your brand are from people who already know you, and having them in your campaigns will give you the illusion of a great performance, when instead oftentimes you're spending the most money on getting people you would have gotten anyways with your organic search result. And this mistake is pretty common because it happens with broad match and performance max campaigns by default. So if you do nothing about it, performance max and broad match keywords will automatically bid on your brand name, your competitor's brand name, and so on. So many are not even realizing that they are bidding on their own brand name. So definitely check the search terms report. And of course, people who are already looking for your brand end up converting better. So the results look great, you are happy, but in the end, you're wasting money. The solution: exclude your brand terms and maybe the competitor's brand terms from your generic campaigns. If you want to bid on your brand and protect the brand term, for example, set up a separate campaign for that. The next mistake is also very important because it will change how you perceive the performance in your Google Ads account. And this is incorrect or missing conversion tracking. Tracking conversions is critical to understanding the performance of your campaigns. But I've seen many accounts with incorrect conversion tracking. Meaning, for instance, you're tracking sales when it's in fact just a page view of a product page, or you track a form submission if the form is not really sent. And in the end, the numbers in Google Ads will look great because there are conversions, but in fact, it's not bringing you anything. And especially when using broad match and performance max, the conversion data is the most important thing. Because as I said, garbage in, garbage out, but it is also true, quality in, quality out. So make sure you're providing quality data to Google. So set up conversion tracking and also make sure to track every action along the way. So don't just track leads and sales, but also the actions leading up to that. Next up, we got keyword mismanagement. What you want to achieve with Google Ads is someone typing in a certain search and you showing the most relevant ad that you have, and the people click on it and land on the most relevant landing page that you have. And inside your Google Ads account, you're achieving this with a thought through campaign structure. But most of the time when taking over accounts, I see campaigns with just one ad group with a lot of keywords in that, in best case even broad match, and this one ad group has one ad in it. And what happens that one ad can be triggered for many different search intentions and is never really relevant to the search. So what you want to do is really structure your ad groups by keyword themes. So every ad group should be around one keyword theme with one search intention behind it, with one perfectly relevant ad and a perfectly relevant landing page behind it. Don't have ad groups with too many and too different keywords in it. You want to improve your ad relevancy, and that will improve your results. And then the other thing I see is not using negative keywords, because Google will end up showing your ads for searches which are not relevant, and you will be paying for the clicks. To avoid that, you can add negative keywords. So always make sure to check the search terms report and add negative keywords if you identify any searches which you don't want to pay money for. But of course, look at the data. If the search term is generating you great conversions, do not exclude it, of course. But most of the time, that will be not the case. Then the next thing I see a lot is using the wrong bidding strategies. Because now we all know Google loves automation and wants you to use an automated bidding strategy. Meaning, Google is setting the bids for you, so how much you spend on a certain click. And once again, there's nothing wrong with smart bidding, but many are using it by mistake. Because it sounds great to maximize conversions or maximize conversion value, or to already set a target CPA or target ROAS, but those bidding strategies are actually rather advanced. Because here it's the same thing, it's based on machine learning and needs enough data. And as a beginner, you usually don't have that. So Google doesn't really know how much to spend in your case and might set too high bids. So you're wasting your budget here. Also, if you are using a target ROAS or target CPA, which is too aggressive, that might also kill off your campaign. So Google says, I'm not able to achieve this result, so we are not spending any money. It can also be wrong to use a manual bidding strategy, especially if you're using broad match, because broad match and smart bidding works together and manual bidding and broad match does not. If you want to use broad match, make sure you are not on manual CPC. So starting up, most of the time do not go for a smart bidding strategy, but rather for a more manual bidding strategy like manual CPC or maximize clicks until you have enough data, and then switch to the smarter bidding strategies. Another mistake I see a lot, especially for beginners, is underfunding your campaigns or misallocating your budgets. As a rule of thumb, you want to make sure that you at least get 10 clicks per day per campaign. That way you'll gather enough data to optimize your campaign. Also, if you are in an industry with high CPCs, a budget of $10, for example, might not be enough to achieve the 10 clicks per day. So make sure that your budget also fits the CPCs in your industry. The next two mistakes actually happen by default when creating a campaign in Google Ads without paying attention to detail. Because by default, the location settings for your regional targeting will be set to presence or interest. But what that means is that you are targeting people who are not necessarily living there or working in that region, but are also showing interest in that region. So for instance, if you are targeting people in the US, it could be that you are also reaching people in Germany looking for search terms related to the USA. And when do you really want this? So make sure you switch the location option to just presence, meaning people regularly living or working in that area. The other mistake happens by default when creating a new search campaign, because here Google automatically checks the box for also running your search campaigns in the display network. And to be honest, this is not a great idea. If you want to run display ads, make sure to create a separate campaign for that. Because search and display is such a different channel that it will just dilute your data. So keep search and display ads separate from another. And one last thing, and I see that especially with new accounts, is not using assets. Assets or ad extensions, what they were called previously, expand your ads. So not using assets is a huge missed out opportunity, because using assets will improve your ad quality, and Google also likes that, but it will also just increase the size of your ads. So not using them doesn't make sense. Make sure to at least use site links, callouts, structured snippets, your business name and business logo. That will improve your overall appearance of the ads and definitely optimize your click-through rates. So, and that's it. Of course, there are more mistakes, but those are the most common ones I see. So make sure to avoid these and spend your money consciously. If you still have questions, let me know in the comments. And also, if you want me to check your Google Ads account, you can get a free audit on my website worth more than $100. If you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more free videos like these.